Hello, YouTubers. Welcome back to Yorkshire Media One. I am Mark, your host, your presenter, whatever you want me to be. Yes, I am cheaper and better than the BBC. You get me for free. So there you go. So what are we talking about today? Well, this is Mark's Sunday Talk. And what are we going to be talking about on this Sunday? Well, we're going to be talking about ULEZ. The Ultra Low Emission Zone. So, what's it all about? Well, how does the ULEZ work? Well, basically, I've got a bit of information. I have done some research on this, and it's it's very dramatic. Right. So ULEZ, this is how it works. A daily charge runs from midnight to midnight. If you drive within the ULEZ area across 2 days, for example, before midnight and after midnight, you will have to pay two daily charges. These are in addition to any congestion charge that applies. Cars and motorcycles are not subject to the low emission zone, ULEZ. Well, they are. That's how it works. But in reality, in reality, Sadiq Khan were really interested in cleaning up the air pollution around London. He won't let any petrol or diesel vehicle go into the ULEZ area. That's how people like me and other people know on YouTube that this is not about cleaning the air pollution in London. This is a cash grab. It's money making scheme basically, because it's not stopping any petrol or diesel cars from going within city centre of London basically. And like I say, the ultra high emission zone you have to pay. I think in London it's £17.50 what they pay every day, so they can travel into city centre in through London basically. That's on top of congestion charges as well. So that's how we know that this is not about saving the planet. It's not about keeping clean air in London. It's about Sadiq Khan making money off the backs of the motorists and poor people as well. Everyone's got to pay it basically. Um, that's why he's wanting to extend the ULEZ zone, so more people will have to pay, which I don't think will happen. I know the courts have say it's lawful, but I think with Sadiq Khan, I think he's paid off a couple of judges to give that result. That's what I believe. I believe there's some kind of corruption going on between Sadiq Khan and the law, basically, because he's been found guilty. He's been found that doing fines through CCTV is illegal, which it is. But he hasn't been arrested for it. He hasn't been investigated for it or anything like that. That's what leads me to believe that there's a lot of corruption involved here. I think he's paying the authorities off. Someone like Jimmy Savile did the same, didn't they? So he could get away with crimes and things like that. This is what I think Sadiq Khan's doing as well. But they're not only they're not happy to have this ultra ULEZ ultra level zone in London, or to expand it. There is suggestions that there could be, and you won't believe this. It has been discussed. ULEZ just the start, and similar scheme needed for buildings. Expert warn. So we'll go with this story, shall we? Scientists argue that ULEZ for buildings as well as vehicles is necessary to reduce air pollution. Hugh Franklin examines how much a scheme would work in practice. US buildings like vehicles could help cut air pollution. Image Dreamtime. Buildings as well as vehicles should be regulated in ultra low emission zone if we are serious about improving the air quality of Britain's built up areas, scientists say. Well, that's a lot of rubbish because we all know ULEZ for vehicles is a cash grab. It's not about cleaning up the air, it's not about saving the planet. And ULEZ for buildings will be the same. It'll be another cash grab. Poor people will have to pay ULEZ on top of the mortgage and on top of the rent or whatever they are paying. But how would ULEZ for buildings work in practice? Would owners of polluting buildings be fined? How would rules be enforced? 1. How would buildings be assessed? The foundation for buildings ULEZ are already in place. Primary energy calculations are used in likes of the Standard Assessment Procedure (SAP), the government chosen method for measuring energy performance certificates (EPCS) and CO2 emissions for new, converted or extended residential dwellings could be used as means. There is the Simplified Building Energy Model (CBEM) used to calculate energy and carbon dioxide emissions in commercial buildings. Now, that's what they're on about doing. Such data could be a bedrock of ULEZ for buildings rather than just measuring or recording the emissions of buildings. ULEZ SAP could be used to encourage improved building performance. 2. Where would the benchmark be set? We could look at a system such as Perseverance, where both primary energy demand, the energy required for the source to generate electric, such as coal, solar, gas, and so on, and annual heating, cooling demand have maximum values to be certified. Well, that means they want to get rid of all your gas boilers and they want to put in heat pumps. Now, from what I can gather, these heat pumps don't work, they're not very efficient, they're useless basically. They don't keep you warm enough. The joke is cold pumps, because that's what they do, they keep you cold. Maximum values to be certified. That doesn't mean that every building should be built to Perseverance levels, but it shows that benchmarks can be set and stuck to. We could have a ULEZ benchmark under which the primary energy demand must be better than London Energy Transformation Initiative. Building standards. So we've got JCT Network keeping us informed, written and suggested by the independent group of industry performances and designed to offer a route towards the net zero city. These build standards are build type specific, remove fossil fuels from properties and set limits on primary and energy demand. The holy trinity of ULEZ building. 3. Wouldn't buildings ULEZ run the risk of shifting the problem elsewhere? Not necessarily. If a building requires power inside a ULEZ zone, then power used must also be produced via low emissions routes. Regulations would need to heavily penalise or even ban the use of energy system which is from a non-renewable source. In broad strokes, that will cut out any carbon or emissions based energy system both at the power plant and the building system, both at the power plant and the building, but allow the uses of interactive heating in certain circumstances. For example, an electric radiator power from solar energy produced on site. This is getting absolutely stupid and ridiculous. You cannot be serious. This cannot be serious. It's getting stupid. You can have electric heater as long as it's solar power. Bull. It's a lot of crap. It'll never work. How would reducing building emissions compare? This is number 4. How would reducing buildings emissions compare to reducing transport emissions? Very favourably, buildings both in operation and in construction are some of the largest pollution contributors, responsible for 39% of global energy related carbon emissions. That's a lie. As far as I'm concerned, they are lying here to justify. In the UK's 2021 carbon report, all forms of transport, land, air and sea made up 26% of greenhouse gases emissions, GHGs, versus 20% from energy, 18% from businesses and 16% from residential. Through a ULEZ building scheme, GHGs would be reduced both from energy production as well as from all forms of building under LETI 2030. By penalty charge notice for ULEZ standard at 180 will be a fine for buildings, and how much? So they're on about £180 fine for a building what doesn't fall into ULEZ. This is one for the politicians, but it would need to be organised by industry process, as the population from building comes from a number of different routes. For example, one area to look at would be dust pollution during construction. Over 30% PM or PM10 pollution in London is just from sites, operations, and 18% of large practical pollution nationwide. Equally, when homes are looking to have occupancy changes, then there needs to be an inclusion retrofit upgrades as part of this, such as a minimum EPC allowance is rented to properties. ULEZ rule must not be too disruptive to owners and businesses, with fines or interactive allotted 6%, 8% or 100% compliance with ULEZ requirements. 6. An ideal world. If you wanted to nudge everyone towards a clean air utopia, should all types of buildings and constructions come under a ULEZ regulatory system? In an ideal world, yes, but in reality, perhaps new buildings would be the starting point, because there is a foundation for existing regulation to build on. We need to start with commercial building and ULEZ penalty on top of the other demands to decarbonise existing homes would almost certainly be a step too far at this time. That said, however, a large population of buildings are ready for ULEZ certification. They just need a bit of boost. It's like increasing the signs saying pump up your tyres to reduce fuel consumption. All the components are there to reduce all consumption, but everything is running a bit flat. 7. About cost. The other big win, or should I say win-win, from a ULEZ in a building, that is that move to low pollution, also means low costs for both consumers and the government. The building science Dage Clout say beats a kilowatt generated rings too. Not only this, but ULEZ buildings would also make ULEZ vehicles more affordable as well, much like EV charge points based in LED converted lampposts. Reducing the grid load from building means that the overall requirement for new power lines, stations and infrastructure to cope with EVs is reduced, solving one of the largest accusations levelled at the EV movement. London Mayor developers must consider air quality at every stage. Air pollution, what does the environment act mean for the construction? Do tall buildings affect the city air quality? What needs to happen next? There is only one major piece of missing from the ULEZ building puzzle, that's freedom and interactive from government to trial this in practice by opening planning allowances for ULEZ buildings, refusing applications which fail to hit the ULEZ standard. Industry has clear and tangible set of goals which need to be hit to make a ULEZ transport zone work its maximum potential. The encouragement and inclusion of low emissions buildings in the same area will provide higher quality and lower cost standard of living. Those living and working within the region. Now, that to me is a load of bunkum. That to me is a load of rubbish. Now, I found that on the internet. Anyone can do it. Do your own research. Don't ask for my sources. Do your own research. If your list of buildings come out, it is going to be very, 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 very clear to me that prices of these new ULEZ buildings will be significantly a lot more expensive. And also, they say a ULEZ building would make for charging an EV a lot easier. That's lies, complete lies. I mean, the charging infrastructure for electric vehicles is not there. It will never be there. Yeah, we are not going to go fully electric in 2030. I will tell you that now. We've been lied to, basically. And ULEZ for buildings will go down the same route. You know what I mean? Why should people have to pay an additional charge of, say, £100 to £200 on a ULEZ building? This is stupid. It really is. This is where stupidity, I don't know who's come up with this idea. I think it's a university in York what's done that. That ULEZ for buildings, that it needs to happen. No, it doesn't. We don't need ULEZ. Let's get rid of ULEZ. Let's get rid of the congestion charge in London. Scrap the lot. Scrap all the green taxes and everything. Let's make life easier for people in London. You know, Sadiq Khan's not looking after Londoners. He don't care about the Londoners, because if he did, he'd have the police on the street, making sure that it's a low crime area. At the moment, London is a very high crime area. Under Sadiq Khan, he's failed. People are being stabbed. People are getting stabbed. And I think they're getting stabbed on a daily basis. Sadiq Khan needs to be taken out of power. Sadiq Khan is lying to you. Sadiq Khan doesn't need to be mayor of London anymore. People in London must get rid of him. Sadiq Khan wants no vehicles in London except for electric vehicles, i.e. electric cargo bikes to do shop deliveries. Stupidity gone wrong. This guy, he hasn't got the brains he was born with. He's not even that intelligent. So come on. You know what I mean? Why do you believe him? You know, why do people in London believe this guy? Or why are you going to vote for him? Get rid of him. You know what I mean? Put Reform UK in there and let's see what they can do. It's as simple as that. ULEZ for buildings? What a joke. That is a joke. But like I say, ULEZ is not to protect the air pollution. In any case, ULEZ for cars, it's a cash grab for the motorist to make them pay more money. ULEZ for buildings is the same way. It's a cash grab for businesses and homeowners to pay more money for something what they're living. This is stupid. It really is. And the carbon monoxide, what they're on about within large buildings, is people like me and you, we are carbon. But the one thing what these people do not bring into it, they don't bring the science into it properly enough. Yeah, I mean, chasing net zero, it is stupid. It is the wrong way to do things and things like that. And if you don't agree with these people, well, they call you far right and fascist. Well, I'm not a far right. I'm not even far left. I'm centre. I'm banging the centre. And I tell you now, they're wrong. ULEZ for buildings will just be as bad as ULEZ for cars. It's a cash grab. It's a quick, rich scheme. But unfortunately, the losers in all this are the people who drive or own buildings. I'll tell you that now. So if that ever comes about, ULEZ for buildings, you know where you heard it first. So I hope you like that. If you have, please give me a thumbs up. Please like the video. Please subscribe if you're new and hit the bell icon here. All that will let you know when I'm uploading another video. Please share the video to your friends and your family and to other social media like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, and use the comment section below. And I'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now. And by the way, that's my opinion. Catch you all later.